All right, I'm idling out on Fort Peck. You want to talk about bucket list destinations for a walleye angler? This has been #1 on my list for a long time. So I wasn't going to come out here blind. I decided to call one of my good buddies, Jesse Reuter, who actually is building a cabin out here and loves the reservoir. So when he told me that late September there's a shallow weed bite, I set sail, headed west, and here we are. I'm looking forward to hopefully catching some fish in some shallow weeds, but we're gonna try whatever it takes to catch these huge walleyes. So we're gonna go out on Fort Peck, and this fish wolf, Jesse, is gonna show me where to catch some of these mega walleyes.
Just looking for the next bite, next bite, next bite, next bite. Just looking for the next bite. It's the
Giant walleyes and huge tournament weights are what the Fort Peck Reservoir is known for. The reservoir stretches over 400 miles and has thousands of miles of shorelines, so there are lots of places for these big walleyes to hide. Although there are a lot of big fish to be had on Fort Peck, the bite is often tough. Knowing how to find active fish is extremely important, especially when the fish might be in the middle of a transition.
You know, so fishing Fort Peck is just one of my favorite things to do. I fish a lot of other, reservoirs and lakes around here, and I'm just always drawn back to this lake. And, the last couple of days the weather's been flat calm, and when it's calm out, we head for the weeds. Fort Peck is just super unique because the water's so clear. It really promotes excellent weed growth, and you can really get in there and target those fish that are hanging in there, because they're hanging in there because there's different types of forage, whether it's a bug hatch or minnows, different baits that are swimming around in there. There's food for them, and it's good cover for them to hide. And so next time you're on Fort Peck, guys, make sure you target those weed beds, because you'll be surprised at how big those walleyes can be hanging in there. There's one, John.
It's a walleye bite?
Good fish. It's heavy. Big fish.
Oh my goodness, I hope that's a walleye. What are we talking up here?
I don't know. It's good though. It's heavy, whatever it is. Heavy.
Heavy is good. And it ate it artificial?
Yep.
Bonus points for that too. Yes, yes, yes. That is a giant dude.
Yeah, it is. That is a good fish.
Yeah.
That's a big fish. Not ready yet. Well,
you bring that puppy up, I'll net it.
there she goes.
Oh!
Yeah.
Nice. Wow, dude, that
Look
thing
at that.
is huge.
Oh,
Wow.
yeah. Look at that baby there.
My goodness, Fort Peck.
Oh, look at that.
You were not kidding when you said they are built like no other.
Look at that.
My goodness.
Beautiful fish.
No doubt.
Just crushed it too. Just crushed it.
That's kind of a Dakota thing when they're up in the weeds, later in the year like this.
Yeah.
But I mean, you were right, man. We saw him on a side image when we rolled in.
Yeah.
And we went 100 feet.
Yep.
That thing cracked it.
Yep. Just smacked it.
Nice work. I'll net those for you
All
all
right.
day, every day.
I'll let you do that.
Nice. All right, I want to catch one of those now.
Alrighty. I'll put this one back.
Oh, let this girl go back. Wow, that thing is fat.
There she goes.
Bye-bye.
The next bite is brought to you by Mercury Marine. Go boldly. Tracker Boats. Fish the finest. Bass Pro Shops and Cabela's. Your adventure starts here. Berkeley. Catch more fish. And Power Pole Total Boat Control. Closed captioning for the next bite is provided by Precision Trolling Data, the authority for crankbait diving depth information. A unique aspect of fishing the weeds on Fort Peck is boat position. With the weeds growing on sharp breaks, you're not only able to cast at the weeds, but if you pay attention to your side scan, you may even catch roaming fish on the deep side of the boat.
Oh, that one cracked it.
Good fish?
Yeah, it feels good.
Yeah, it looks decent on the sonar there.
Wow, these things fight. Oh yeah,
looks
that's
good.
a nice walleye.
Yeah.
All right, I'll bring it up to you. Nice.
Oh yeah.
Wow, that's a fat one.
Look at that. Nice one, John.
Yeah. Man,
Beauty.
I don't know if these fish have just slid out of the weeds now or what, but
I think so.
I mean, they're just right out front. And they're not the huge ones though.
Yeah, but they're good eater size, and
Well, the up-and-comers of
Yeah,
the
up-and-comer.
Fort Peck,
the breeders.
soon to be a horse.
Yeah.
They're biting it good though.
Yeah, they are.
Oh, can you grab me that? Oh, maybe I got it.
Yeah. All right.
Nice.
Beauty.
I'll get that one
All
back.
right, yeah, let's get her back in the water. And grow up to be 30 inches.
Having a jig rod rigged for the weeds and a rod for a glide bait like a shiver minnow or Johnny Darter is very important.
So guys, one thing you really want to understand is you're using your Lowrance and your side scan to really key in on these weed beds that we're fishing today. So you really want to come in here and set up your side scan and make sure you're shooting at least 100 feet to either side. And why do we do that? Because you want to be able to shoot at least as far as you can cast. When you have this Champ swimmer hooked up with a 1/2 ounce jig head, you can really cast that thing a long ways. So, you know, save yourself some time, key in on the side scan, look for life in those weeds, and you'll be a lot more successful in your day of fishing.
Here, it's going to the back here.
Okay.
Wow, this thing is fighting.
You want me to clear that rod out of there, John?
Yeah, you better. This thing's going wherever it wants to.
Okay.
Wow, if this is a walleye. Oh yeah, there's a whitetail on that thing. Got it?
Yeah.
Oh, the hook came out.
Nice.
Wow,
Good one.
that is a sweet looking walleye.
Healthy as can be.
Wow,
Nice.
look at the build on that thing. That's like a, I don't even know, 5 pound, 23 incher.
Yeah, healthy fish.
I can see why you
Good
like
fish.
fishing out
Yeah.
here.
Got him on the old Johnny Darter too. Uncle
Wow.
Rico.
All right, I gotta cast again. This is sweet.
Yeah, right on.
See you later, friend.
Total Control, presented by Power Pole. 20 years of trust evolved from Total Boat Control.
When you're talking about high performance multi-species boats, the 206 Triton Fish Hunter is one that you're definitely going to want to take a look at. Moving up into the bow, this boat has got a great big bow fishing platform, which I love. The other thing is that we designed this boat to sit a little bit lower in the water. What that's going to do for you, it's going to catch less wind, which is going to cause this boat to track way better. But what's cool about this is you are not sacrificing anything in the big water ride. This boat runs really good in rough water, but when you get into those situations where you can really let it rip, you aren't going to be disappointed, that's for sure. But up in the bow here, we've got awesome center rod storage, 2 giant compartments for all of your extra gear, ropes, life jackets, any sort of safety gear that you need. An insulated cooler up there that doubles as a bait well, which is also very handy. Just an awesome work platform. Moving back to the console here, there's plenty of room to mount today's electronics. You've got a nice cockpit control area here with resettable breakers. We've got a nice area underneath here that I can store extra tackle or gear. Moving through to the giant glove box, which I love. There's plenty of room in there for storing everything that you need. Underneath there's an extra compartment there where you can put some extra 3700 trays. And then moving back here, We've got a giant compartment on not only the starboard but the port side also. The battery charger is also incorporated on that port side, which is nice because you can get at it to make sure that your batteries are being maintained at night. This boat also comes with an optional rear casting deck, which is very nice. It also increases your working area in the back. So this boat has all the features that you need, but where it really shines is in its tracking, whether you're on the bow mount or on the kicker motor. But then when it's time to make that big run to the winning fish, this thing is going to run solid through the biggest of water, and when it lays down and you can really let it bark, you'll be smiling ear to ear.
Being able to fish the weeds for walleyes is very important, but not easy to do. In many bodies of water, the weeds are full of life, and Fort Peck is no exception. John is one of the best at picking apart this cover, and for good reason.
So one tip with these Berkley swim bait jig heads is they have a little post on them, and those are generally for a lot stiffer plastics, but a bait like the Champ Swimmer that I like to have hooked right on the back of the bait, I like to just pinch that little post down, and then when I'm in tourney mode or I got the color pattern dialed in, I'll add a little bit of super glue there just to hold the Champ Swimmer on.
He is able to picture what's going on in the weeds and mimic a natural fleeing bait fish presentation to trigger these fish.
One of my favorite ways of all time to catch a walleye, especially in the weeds, is throwing a paddle tail. There's a couple key variables that can make your success when using a Champ Swimmer. One of them is clear water. The clear water allows that natural bait fish look of these baits to really kind of shine. If you're in dirty water, you'd probably use something brighter. In clear water, you can use the perch, the crappie, any of those natural HD printed sides on these things, and it's really gonna get you more bites. The other key thing about that clear water is it allows that fish to see when I'm working my bait really aggressively, pumping the bait up and letting it fall. And I think it's doing a couple things. One of them is it's touching bottom. It's always a good trigger. The other thing is it's ripping through the weeds, another way to get a walleye's attention. And then the most key part is how fast that bait's falling. So I use a heavy jig head. This one's a 1/2 ounce. And I really think there's some science behind why walleyes bite it. The bait's falling really fast, and I think it's something they encounter in nature on a day-to-day basis. So next time you're fishing the weeds and you got clear water, try a Champ Swimmer, work it aggressively, and you're gonna love the results of big walleye with this thing absolutely choked in its mouth. Dude, it's a huge walleye.
You net?
Yeah.
Okay, big walleye?
Yeah,
Okay.
like a 28 or 30 inch.
I got the net here.
We're gonna bring it right up to you. This thing was going out to sea. Nice!
Yeah. There you go.
Whoa!
Look at that, John.
Wow!
That is a Fort Peck monster there.
What a giant.
Look at that thing.
Just absolutely crushed the Champ Swimmer.
Yep. Right on, look at that.
I was pumping that thing out of the weeds, and
Yeah,
you had just
beautiful
caught a
fish.
pike,
Yep.
and it was literally the exact same cast, and all of a sudden, like, donk! I mean, the walleye bite. And then the thing literally just swims out to sea like it was just gonna go out with its meal. Like, I thought it was another pike, but
He's just eating and running.
my goodness, look at the eyeballs of that
Look at that thing. Beautiful fish.
Nice thing about the Berkley swim bait jig is they do
It's in
not
good
get
shape.
off of that big
Yep.
hook. Wow, what a beautiful fish. All right, we gotta get her back. She needs a real meal. Wow, what a fish. A beautiful fish.
Yeah, that's what we're here for, man.
Oh man.
That's a beautiful Fort Peck walleye.
When I first started walleye fishing, picking the right rod was really kind of confusing. But as I've learned more and more about fishing, I got my own style and I really kind of simplified it in my head. So I use a number of different action rods. One of them for jig fishing, where I have a nice solid hook on a smaller jig, is a medium extra fast rod. The reason why is I want to be able to pick up line quick when I set the hook, and I'm not really scared about the fish getting off, and that's why that extra fast action is perfect. The next rod that I use a lot of is a medium fast action rod. This one's a little bit more forgiving, and the reason I use it on lures like a Johnny Darter or a shiver minnow is because it just has that small treble hook and really not a huge rear hook. So when I hook that fish, I'm gonna be playing it a lot more defensively to keep that fish pinned and absorb its runs. The last walleye rod I use nowadays is a medium heavy rod. This one is really stiff, and it's a simple reason why. It's because I'm using a big heavy gauge hook. Now when I fish for walleyes with a Berkley swim bait jig head, which has a big 5/0 hook, I use a medium heavy rod so I can drive that hook home, and I'm not really worried about that fish getting off at all. So next time you're picking a rod, kind of match that rod weight and action to your hook size, and it'll become a lot more easier for you.
The next bite is brought to you by Mercury Marine. Go boldly. Tracker Boats. Fish the finest. Bass Pro Shops and Cabela's. Your adventure starts here. Berkeley. Catch more fish. Lowrance. Find, navigate, dominate. Precision Trolling Data. The authority in diving depth info. And Power Pole Total Boat Control. Hot topics, leading information and tackling techniques to make you a better angler. Presented by Mercury.
Mercury SmartCraft gauges are something that people have been familiar with for many, many years. But two of the screens within the SmartCraft gauges that I use, probably more than almost any others, are going to be the fuel flow and fuel use screen. So the fuel screen, basically. And what fuel flow basically does is it's telling me how many gallons per hour I'm burning. So I'm able to dial in the speed with basically my RPM set up and figure out if I have enough gas to get in if I'm making a long run. And every time I fill up my boat, I reset the fuel use screen so I know to a T exactly how much gas I have left in my boat. So SmartCraft for the fuel situation is a great thing to pay attention to. Now the next thing that I really pay attention to a lot is the RPM screens. Basically, this is allowing me to know the exact RPMs. I'm not paying attention to a tack gauge where I don't know if it's perfect. It might be 5,900 or 6,200 RPMs. The SmartCraft gauge tells me exactly what it is. Because when you're really stickler about the performance, 200 RPMs can make all the difference in the world in getting an extra mile, 2 miles an hour. So really use these SmartCraft gauges. Great things to let you know how your motor's running, and really when you want to dial in your boat, pay attention to the RPMs and also pay attention to the fuel screens to make sure you get in and you're not sitting out there on the water running out of gas.
Combining Johnny Darters and Champ swimmers to fish the weeds and the deep breaks is an extremely efficient way to target 2 depths of water at the same time.
It cracked it. It drove right over that thing and dropped it back to her.
I've seen that was a really good mark.
All right. Nice.
Yeah. Nice one, John.
Well, that one cracked it.
Yeah, it did. Exactly what we're looking for.
Kind of
Good old
pulled
uncle.
out off the break of the weeds when we started marking those fish on side scan.
Yep.
And lo and behold, some of them were just out off the break.
Yeah.
So I don't know. I mean, it's a classic move, especially in reservoirs. So much water it covers, driving around with a big motor.
Yep.
Put one right under the boat and then just pitch right back to them.
Fish hunting.
Yeah, for sure. That one looks like it'd probably be pretty good for dinner.
Yeah.
Oh well. We'll get her back anyway. She's gonna grow up to be like 34 inches.
Yeah, exactly on this reservoir.
She's eating some leeches. See you later.
As tournament anglers, John and Jesse are always looking for a way to put more fish in the boat, and using 2 different techniques nearly at the same time is a huge help.
Whoa, that thing smoked it right in the boat.
Good one, John?
Yeah, very heavy.
Oh, yeah. All right.
I think it's one of your friends.
Oh.
It's acting very big.
Wow.
Watch that trolling motor.
There you go.
Look at him on the graph.
Yeah, look at that.
The full size
That's a
one.
hog. That is a huge
This could be my
fish.
biggest walleye.
That's a
Here we
huge
go.
one.
Better.
Oh, yeah. Look at that.
Wow.
Woo. Look at that thing.
hog.
Oh, my goodness.
She absolutely choked
That is a tank.
the champ swimmer.
Look at that.
Hello.
Woo.
So they kind of slowed
Yep.
down for a while, and now
They
we're
did.
getting closer to sunset, and the big
That
ones
is a
are
tank.
starting to bite again.
That is a Fort Peck walleye there, buddy.
Wow, thank you so much, my friend.
That's what we're here for.
What a reaction bite that is. That is sweet.
What a beauty.
That's my
Good
biggest,
fish, Sean.
biggest walleye in a long time, for sure. All right, we got to get her back. It's your turn.
Yeah, let's do it.
I think this one can get even bigger.
Yep. It's a beautiful Fort Peck walleye there.
Oh, see you later. Wow. So what's the deal with the olive trees?
So when the water's higher, here's where we have more runoff coming out of the Missouri, those trees will get flooded, and the walleyes seem to really like hanging in those Russian olives.
So do you think they're eating the olives?
I don't know. I think they just...
And you feel the tick. For myself, I can't help but just blast them on a hook set. So even with 20-pound fluoro, it's no match for old Mr. Toothy.
And so we're gonna look to see if we can find...
Sorry, I had to cast for those.
That's all right.
Partner up front there can never ignore the side imaging marks on the right, and of course he has to cast over there, and he's hooked up right now.
For these fish, look for life. That was a good one I had going too, John.
This is gonna be the best outtake.
That was the best one I had going all day.
Right? Yeah, okay, so.
The Next Bite would like to thank Cottonwood Inn & Suites in Glasgow, Montana. It's all about Montana hospitality at the Cottonwood Inn & Suites, Montana's premier hotel and convention center. Cottonwood Inn & Suites is located just 17 miles north of Fort Peck, one of the most beautiful, uncrowded havens in the United States. If you're looking for more information on Cottonwood Inn & Suites, please visit cottonwoodinn.net or call 406-228-8213.